Hello, this is Morning Garden. I'm back, and I just got back from the grocery store. Go early if you're going to go to the grocery store nowadays. Go early. Get there early. The stores are stocked. They have plenty of things to sell. The prices so far has not changed very much. It has not changed very much. And yes, my show started late today. Hello, how you doing? Hey, Food Farms Permaculture. Did you by any chance get that little message that said I was starting today? I want to make sure it's working. Because as long as that message is working, it's getting out there. You know, the message that said the show is starting at 10 o'clock. No message. Okay, I got to fix it. Thank you. Thank you. So I got to the store. Everything was great. Got there early. Lines were picking up. A lot of parking was taken up. And this is when the store opened. Most of the people that have the ability to do that, get up early, is older people. Yes, I got the message. Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you very much. I'm just trying to do things right, folks, and trying to make sure that I am an information source that gets the message out on how to keep your food growing. And I must say, folks, I did it again. I did not bring those beautiful spinach up here to show you on camera. I did not bring them here, but we'll do it very soon the next time out. The spinach is growing great. There's a spinach that I really like that I'm going to keep growing. It's called Noble. It's a large variety, large leaf variety of spinach. Obviously, man's been tampering with it and got it big, but it has, to me, a buttery flavor that when and I think that a nutty flavor, excuse me, nutty. Get those two kind of wired wrong. But everything looks good. Everything's growing. Now, I was having some setbacks at first. I was doing something really weird, which is just double checked and live only. Just double checked and live only. Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Food Farmers Permaculture, ladies and gentlemen. And he was cutting up a beautiful fish one day online, and I said, "Oh man, he had me wanting to go fishing so bad that I just wanted to go fishing so bad." But I tell you that, folks. Now I'm thinking about it now. It's just a wonderful thing because I told him I have tons of lures. I mean, still in the box and packs and everything, which he's going to do something with that. I won't spoil it. But the thing about it is, I think that when it comes to fishing, we could add that to our arsenal of having food. Would you not agree? Would you not agree? So when you're having your fresh spinach that's sauteed lightly in some olive oil with some garlic and onion. Oh my goodness. Hello, how you doing? I say peace. All right, okay. And now look at that. People are coming in this room. What did people heard I'm leaving? I say thank you for your videos. I started my garden last year on almost with no. Oh, okay. You start. Oh my goodness, I love that. I love that story. I don't love the fact that you had no money, but I love the fact that you learned and you say thank you for your videos. Oh my goodness, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well done. All right. Let's see. Food Farmers Permaculture will give you your props. That's right. He started it with little money. And I hope that my videos definitely inspire people to do that, because I get angry sometimes when I see people going out there and they work all week and their wife works and and some of their kids have jobs and they can't afford a garden because everything at the garden place is marked up so high. They're getting their money from you off the top. They get your money from you off the top. And then you got people like myself, food farmers permaculture, that comes out here and tell you, no, 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 no. Build your soil. That is the key. Forget about all the fancy stuff in the store in boxes and bags and all the pretty pictures on the front showing tomatoes about 19 pounds and showing the reddest apples and, you know, no flaws in anything. And forget about all that. Just know that all you got to do is get the soil right. That's the first thing you want to do. And it takes a little time to do that. But you keep adding organic matter to the soil. Keep adding and adding and adding. Did I say adding? I want to get that point across. You add organic matter to their soil, and you keep adding it. And people ask me a couple of people asked me over the years, say, can you add too much organic matter to your soil? And my answer to that is no. No, I will keep adding organic matter to my soil. Now, I use a different method. The food farmers permaculture uses a number of different methods, but I use chop and drop. Chop and let it drop. That's the whole thing. Chop and let it drop. Yes, Ruth is awesome as well. She just simply said, you know, you want to put it down there, and you want to, you know, and that's how she talked. And she would put the hay all over everything, a straw, and the stuff would grow. And people were wondering, how is she doing this? Wait a minute, we never heard of this before. And guys and people that farm from families that said, we should just till up everything, and make sure that everything is tilled. And that's all they knew. And then the government came around in the early 70s and said, here, put all this on there. It'll make you double, triple, quadruple your crops, and you'll be all set, and you'll make tons of money. And then they realized that they were ruining their soil, and it was too late, because now they needed these additives to just stay afloat. And thank God for getting back to nature's way of doing it, because you can't go wrong with nature's way. You cannot go wrong. Now people are going out there, they're cutting down their crops or harvesting them, and they're leaving all this crop residue on the ground now, which I've been doing for the last 6-7 years now, just leaving it there. And I used to feel kind of guilty back in the earlier days and say, this look untidy. This doesn't look right. It's not all pretty like the gardens I see on the internet and in the books. It doesn't look all perfect and pretty and all that with the flowers and the stuff around it, all neatly cut, and all the lady showed you. She said, take up all your crop residue and throw it in the compost pile, and then you got a compost pile for next time. And I'm looking at that and I'm saying, wait a minute, why not leave it right where it is? It's right there. Why am I going to do 2 trips? Why do I want to put it in there and then bring it back? Leave it on the ground, and all this composting material will go back into the ground, turn the ground soil, blacker, and make the organic life in that soil. Why wouldn't I want to just leave it there? Well, when I got that one day, I got mad, and I got that lawn tractor out there, and I set it to its highest setting, and I started driving through everything. When the end of the year was up, I drove and cut down everything, all the okra stalks and the corn stalks, and I cut everything up. And all this residue was lying all over the ground. It was neat, but it was everywhere. It was all over covered, about that thick, just covered all throughout. And I said, now that looked like it might work. Lo and behold, years later, I looked into my soil after doing this for a number of years. I saw all of these big worms, and they were fast-moving worms. I knew they weren't night crawlers. And I said, well, where did these worms come from? Because I've never seen these before. And I used to, not really pick them up or anything, because I didn't know what the hell they were. They were wiggling fast and snaking along like this, They were on top of the soil instead of being under the soil. I would pull back some grass in the spring and see them on top of the soil just do that and go along their way. And I said, what the hell is going on? I go to another part of the yard. I said, let me try this. Put the manure fork down in the ground and popped it back, handful of worms. Go over to the other side of the yard, popped it back down in there 8 inches deep, popped it up, handful of worms. I said, something is happening here. What made all these worms come here? Well, you had so much organic matter in the soil that the worms are going to go where the food is, where the opportunities to mate is, where the opportunity to be in moist, rich soil. And I said, okay, now where are the night crawlers? And I found that the night crawlers were over in another part of the property that wasn't quite rich in organic matter, to say the least. And they were in a part of the property that was mostly clay soil. And they enjoyed the clay soil. And they were the biggest night crawlers. They would go out and eat and then come back to the clay soil. That's what my thinking was. Because they were in the clay soil. There was quite a few of them. Then I had a compost pile that was left there for years when I used to do the compost pile. And the compost was night crawlers. And they were in the lower section of the pile. I mean, you know, and I couldn't believe it because I couldn't believe they were everywhere. Night crawlers in the compost pile. Up on top of the pile were the red wigglers that I brought to the yard, like maybe about 12 of them, left them in the yard, and I had hundreds of them. And the night crawlers, I have a feeling where they came from, because I bought them when I used to go fishing a lot. Instead of just putting them in the refrigerator in a cup, I just dumped them in the dumped them in the compost pile, and then they took over in the bottom part of it. I mean, they were everywhere, but they told me, anyway, these are Canadian night crawlers. Well, how come they're living in the U.S.? Because they go where they have to, and they live in conditions that will allow them to be there. And they actually were 10 times bigger than when I bought them from Walmart. They were 10 times bigger than that. I mean, they were so big that you would wonder, will this fit on the size fish hook I was using? And I was just ecstatic by that. So I learned that I could use everything at my disposal. People had the audacity, folks, to throw away leaves. And the leaves were helping me. The leaves made it so that I could grow what I want. And I would collect people's leaves. I would collect people's leaves, folks, and I would have doing that. And realize I was fertilizing the heck out of my garden without spending any money. I was fertilizing my garden, and I kept it. And then I started driving around, and I saw other people in community garden, and they started using leaves. And I said, word's getting out, because these leaves should be in the trash, but they weren't in the trash. And I said, okay, these worms are here to stay as long as I feed them. And I understood that if you want to use the leaves, lay them on top of the soil. I didn't dig them in, because when I dug them in, it would rob the nitrogen from the soil. And what I would do is, I knew I wanted to use my soil throughout. So I laid them on top. So all I had to do was move them aside and dig a hole, and they would do what they had to do. I would just move them to the side, put the plant in, and the leaves were rotting on top. When it rained, gravity would force the tea that was made from the material. It would force it through the soil. Now, I also had a ton of workers that I paid absolutely $0, and their job was to make absolutely certain that the soil was well fertilized. I needed them to dig tunnels throughout the soil, and I didn't pay them a cent. Yes, folks, they were worms, and they worked around the clock, and they took all those leaves and they pulled them underground. They pulled them underground, folks. Didn't charge me a cent. Of course, they had no need for money. Worms, yes. They are the one of the driving forces that will improve your soil is worms. If you do not see worms in your ground, you got a situation going on. If you do not see worms in your soil, if you have to dig 3 and 4 shovels and you don't see but 1 or 2 worms, you got some work to do. You got some work to do. Your ground should be a shovel full. With every shovelful, it should be worms all through that shovelful of soil. If you do not have that, it doesn't mean that all hope is lost. It just means you need to get that organic matter in that soil. You can't get too much in there. Use leaves and grass clippings. I use leaves and grass clippings and weeds. I'm a little bit bolder. I don't mind the weeds being there. I know what the weeds do. The bugs will eat the weeds and won't touch my crop. I don't know why that is all the time, but they prefer the weeds over the crop. And I get no holes in my tomatoes, no bites on my okra, no bites on my squash, no bites on my zucchini, no bites on my cantaloupe, no bites on my watermelon, nothing. They just eat the weeds. And I love it. Just feel the power. Okay, all right. Well, that's it for me today, folks. This has been the Morning Gardener. Thank you very much for tuning in. I want to thank you all and have a good day. And remember to keep on growing. This is the Morning Gardener. Thank you very much.